Welcome to this week live, and most of you are asking me how can I book website clarity call with you. So before we get into why your website is getting traffic and also converting and how to spot that and fix it, I want to show you a walkthrough on how you can book website clarity call. The link to that will be in the comments, but let me show you how you do that. You come to my website. When you get to my website, you click on book a website clarity call, and when you do that, this is what it shows you what the call is about. It's not a discovery call, it's a clarity call. So you come in there to understand what your website should be doing for what it's currently doing. Okay. So this is what you get out of my website clarity call with you. And then you confirm that you want to hear from me. And you have two options on how this section can go. If you really want a deep dive into your website and walk away with a strategy and implementation plan, a roadmap that takes you from where you are to where you want to be, you want to start with a 60-minute website planning and strategy section. Okay. If you just have a question, you want to kind of clarify things and also see my vibe and see if we are the right fit for each other, then this is where you go. It's a 15-minute, not a discovery call, but clarity call. You walk away understanding what the next direction should be for you. So come here and choose your options. Help is available, but you need to reach out to get the help. So now we talk about how you can get your website clarity call done. Can we move away to the topic of the day? So your website is getting traffic, but it's not converting. How to spot and fix the problem without redesigning your website. What would you be learning in this video today? What is the strategy today for you? It's going to be how you can identify why you're getting traffic without conversion. You're going to also understand what happened between the clicks and the conversion. All right. You're getting traffic to your website and people are not taking action. Why is that the case? You're going to know that. And you also walk away with how to spot the difference between what your website is doing and what your website should be doing, which is converting visitor into paying client. How do you spot where the missing gap is and what do you fix first without redesigning the website? So that will be the strategy for you today. All right. So now, what is the question that we don't ask? Okay, so the question we don't ask is what happened when someone land on your website and is not taking action? So not what you want them to do, not what their cell phone say they should do, but what exactly do they actually do between landing on the page and leaving? Did they scroll down the page? Did they leave? Why did they do that? And why this question is so important is because it focuses on website page engagement. So instead of focusing on driving more traffic to it, it focuses on the engagement side because that engagement is what will lead to conversion. All right. And how website visitors leave your website, they do that in a very silent way. They don't announce that they are leaving. They don't send you an email to say, I'm leaving your website because I couldn't find what I'm looking for. No, they simply vanish. So they leave the page without taking action. And that is a silent exit. And you want to be able to identify why that is happening. Bear in mind, this is not about bounce rates because you're already tracking that if you're having analytic tools on your website. It's already helping you to track the bounce rate. What we are focusing on here is between the traffic and the conversion, what happened in between, and how visitors leave the page without giving you any warning sign. And when we notice that a lot of people are coming to the website and the people are also leaving the website at the speed in which they arrived, what most people seem to do is to drive more traffic to that web page. They update that web page more, they add more content, they boost the visibility, they increase the ad budget, or they redesign the entire page, hoping that in that process they will be able to identify what the problem is. And that is a wrong fix because traffic alone is one part of the story. Getting people to engage on your website is a different thing. So if you drive all the traffic, whatever number that look like, whether it's organic or paid, add to that page, but people are not taking action. If that page doesn't hold attention, all your marketing strategy on that page can kind of disappear because it's not producing the result you want. So what is the reframe that needs to happen? What is a new way of thinking that you should be having? So instead of you focusing on the traffic alone, I want you to focus on why did they not stay in the first place? Because if you put more traffic to a website that doesn't convert, that alone on its own would not convert visitors into paying clients. People would not just convert because you're asking more people to visit the website. For example, if 100 people visit the website and they did not take action, sending 200 people to that page would not change the situation until you identify where the gap is, until you identify why did they leave the page. And if website visitors land on your page and they cannot easily tell what the web page is for, who is it for, and what action you want them to do to take in a way that makes sense to the users, in a way that makes sense to people visiting the website, not the way it makes sense to you, but the way it's clear to the right people. And what would help you to achieve that is for you to start seeing your website traffic as a behavior. So if 10 people or 100 people visit your website and they did not take action, what is that behavior telling you about that page? Which section of that page needs to be improved? And what can you do to improve that section of the page? Okay, that is what you want to see. Start seeing your website traffic as a behavior. And also start seeing your website clicks, what people actually clicks on that website as attention, and begin to know where does that attention fade, where is people taking most action. If you have call to action about 3 places on your website, which of the call to action is doing the most work and where do people drop off? That would help you understand which section of the page need upgrading without you having to redesign the whole page. So start seeing your website traffic as a behavior and start seeing your attention as a clicks. In that way, your website traffic strategy not just drive traffic, but turn that traffic to attention and that attention turn into conversion. All right. So how do you make this happen? Do you need to redesign the entire page? Not necessarily. Do you need to increase the ad budget in order for you to start turning this visitor into paying client? Well, increasing the ad budget alone would not tell you why the visitors vanish in the first place. You need to identify the shift that is happening. But what do you do then? What's the way to do that? There are many tools out there that could help you to spot the gap of the drop off, where engagement stops, and where people stop taking action on your website in order to help you convert. And there are many ways to do that, and there are many tools out there. What if you have tried all that and you still feel stuck? What if you have tried different ways of optimizing your website for conversion, and you have tried different methods of analyzing website traffic, and you are still stuck? I want to introduce you to a framework that I use with my clients. This framework allows me not just only to audit website, it doesn't only allow me to audit the website in a strategic way, but it helped me identify for my clients a specific section on their website that is not converting. And why this framework is so important is because it allows you to fix the section that is not working. Instead of redesign the whole page, you simply focus on where attention fade, where the drop-off happened, and fix that. And then skip the same traffic framework to see the difference that it makes. So what is the C framework? The C framework stands for spot, evaluate, enhance. So you simply spot which section of the page is engagement is going down, which section of the page need evaluating, and which section of the page can you enhance. Specific section, specific action increase the conversion without redesigning the whole page, without increasing the ad budget, and also without driving extra traffic. So you simply stick to the traffic you got and optimize the page more effectively. So what does the spot part of the C framework does? I want you to come with me on a journey here. I want you to use your imagination, and I want you to travel to any of the page of your website. Okay, would it be your landing page, or would it be your sale page? Would it be your about page, your home page, your service page, whatever that page should look like? And I want you to stay on the page that you feel you have the most traffic. So if you open your analytic tools, you look at all your web pages, which one give you the most traffic? I want you to stay there because that page is already a top performing page on your website. Now, if the conversion from that page is low, whatever conversion means to your sales process is low. Now, I want you to look at that page and say, can you spot where attention fade? Can you spot where people would hesitate to take action? Can you spot where people would not do what you want them to do? Where did you spot that? Was it at the above fold section of the page, or was it at the middle section of the page, or is it at the footer? If you are able to spot that, now you have identified the section of your website that needs optimizing for page engagement. Because people need to, one, land on the page, two, engage with the page before they convert. So if engagement is not happening in the flow that it should happen, have you spot the reason why it's not happening? And when you spot that, it helps you know where attention fades. And when you identify where the attention fades, you can optimize that section for conversion. That's what I call the missing piece moment. So the missing piece moment is a moment on your page where the flow stops, when people stop engaging, when people stop taking action. And not identifying that section, not spotting that gap can cost you a lot more than you imagine. You keep sending more traffic to the page, you keep optimizing for conversion, but you haven't identified which section of the page is causing you the trouble. So that is a missing piece moment where you need to identify the section that is not doing that. And when you do that, is to write down your action point. Now you spot the section. Was it the above four? Was it in the middle? Was it at the footer? Identify the section. Now we want to write down one action you're going to take to simplify that section. And this is a strategy that I share with my client. You need to think about what's going on in that section of the page that is not giving you the result. How do you see that section? Does it look different from other section on your page? Does it flow well? Does it do what it says it would do? Does it hold the attention of the people on that page? If not, write down what action you're going to take to achieve that. Now, the next part you're going to do after you spot the section on your page that's not doing the most work is to evaluate what happened. And how you evaluate is to identify the why behind the drop off. Okay. So, why did people stop the scroll? What's going on there? So identify the why behind that. And if you look at your website, you should be able to identify that. If you are struggling to one, spot the gap or which section of your page is not converting, until you don't really see why, because everything to you look okay, look fine, look perfect, but you notice that there's a lot of drop off there and you can't spot that. What do you do next? Click the link in the comment to book your website clarity call, and I will help you out to know which section of your page is not converting and why. All right. So now that you identified the section and why people drop off, the next thing is to write out one action that you're going to take. Okay. You spot the gap, you evaluate why it happened, and you're writing down your action point based on that. And that takes you to the enhanced part of the C framework. What are you enhancing? You're not enhancing one thing, you're enhancing the whole thing in that section. So you ask yourself this strategic question: is the messaging clear? Is the structure looking good? Is the design doing what it meant to do? Is the layout clear enough to help people stay on that page? What does the call to action say? So you look at that section in as a whole and then enhance that section by the way you optimize it. So the question to you is, what strategic change are you going to make to your website today to start turning visitor into client? If the answer to that question is not absolutely clear, we need to have a conversation, okay? Just comment below the comment website and I will reach out with you with some strategy. So when you identify this section of the page and you enhance it and you also evaluate why it happened, over a period of time, you build up a pattern. And that pattern helps you have what they call compounding wins. So you not only win from your own page, you start winning from your about page, you start winning from your service page, you start winning with other pages that you have on your website, whether it's sign up page, landing page, sell page, you start winning. And when you win in multiple pages of your website, and what win means in this context is conversion, all right? People are visiting the website, they're taking action and they're becoming your paying client, all right? That's what win means. Over a period of time, you build that up into something big. Now, you have been listening to me for the past how many minutes, and I want you to take action. What is one strategic change you're going to make on your website that will bring you one step closer to turning visitor into paying client? Let me know in the comment below. What is one thing that you're going to do differently after listening to this video? Now, you have been learning when you get traffic, why is it not converting? But there's a strategy on how to win visitors back without retargeting ads and without driving more traffic. All right. It's to add curiosity to your section of your page. You have identified where attention fade, where the drop off happened, where engagement stop. Can you simplify how that place work by adding more curiosity? Curiosity allow people to kind of reflect instead of overthink. And that's what you want people to do. When people come to your website, want them to feel, I understand this, okay, I need more of that. So you need to make them feel more hungry for more, and adding curiosity to that section would help you achieve that. Step number 2 in keeping people engaged on your webpage is to clarify micro promises. It's very easy to promise people a lot of stuff and say a lot of big things, but could you simplify how that result look like? Let me give you an example. So instead of listing features of what people will get from whatever services and offer you're giving, could you tell them the transformation that will happen after the experience it? Take them on a journey to the future. And that's how you clarify micro promises. Make them understand that this is what will happen when you get this, not get this, and then they are not sure, what is going to happen later. All right. So clarify that by giving them the transformation instead of the future. Call to action is so important, but what does it mean to redefine your call to action? If you want your website to convert, you need to have call to action. Obviously, it sounds simple, right? But what if your call to action simple say, learn more? Is there any way you can redefine that call to action so that it doesn't just say learn more, but give people context to what they are learning more about? What does that look like for them? Because people do get concerned if I click a button, would they download something to my computer? What would happen? The people do get scared clicking button. So redefining how your call to action works, reassure your website visitors that they are in a safe space and you really want them to take action. So don't just have call to action on your website. Have the right call to action that clearly shows what happened next when they click the button. Now, inside is good. All the things I've shared with you in this video is good, but you need to move away from just knowing to the doing. All right, insight to improvement. So you're gonna use the strategy I shared with you in this video. You're gonna go to your website and you're gonna do the work. What if you don't want to do the work? That's where I come in, coming to help you take away that overload. So book your website clarity call with me and let's help you out. Now, there's one thing I want you to really get out of this video, and that is website don't fail because it's all broken. All right? Your page is not converting, not because the page is not working. Your website is not converting because one, you don't have the right traffic, and two, the traffic you're having are leaving the page without engagement. So one single change, one single habit, one single optimization at the right spot on your website can simply transform the type of conversion you are getting from your website. So how would you move from insight to improvement? Is to spot the gap, evaluate the gap, and enhance the gap in a way that helps you to turn visitor into paying client. You spot it, enhance, evaluate, and enhance. That's a strategy. So what is the summary of this video today for you? Is that you need to identify on your page where attention fades. Is it at the top? Is it at the middle? Or is it at the footer? When you do that, the second thing is to know why did it happen? Why did the people scroll down to that point and stop engaging on the page and leave? And then the third thing is to optimize it with the right intention. Look at the messaging. Is it clear? Look at the structure, the design. Is that section look like a block of text? Can you simplify it and clarify how that section looks? All right. When you do that, you will not just only get traffic, but you will turn your website traffic into paying client. For some of you that are watching this video from other platform outside LinkedIn, you could be watching me from Facebook or from YouTube or any other platform that I'm streaming this to. Could you scan the QR code on the screen to connect with me on LinkedIn and drop me a message about your website? I want to help you start turning your website visitor into paying client, but I need you to do one big thing, and that is reach out. And it's so simple to do that. Scan the QR code on the screen and drop me a message. If you are ready to move from just having a website to a website that converts, the first step is to book your website clarity call, where we walk through your section of your website and show you the strategy on how to move it forward. All right. Hope you find this video helpful. Please feel free to share it with as many people as possible because we want to reach people that really want to get the best out of their website. And together, we are going to have a website that not just exists, but the one that converts. Keep the dream of your website alive, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.